Furnished apartment, one bedroom, cost me $135 a month.
No!
It went down $10 when I got rid of the furniture I was renting. I bought my own furniture after that.
My first apartment was in Chicago right out of college, and it was $750 a month. But then it did get condemned. It was a rough apartment, but it was technically affordable.
Well, I live with my parents. The first apartment where I gained consciousness was in Uptown, and I think my dad was paying about $1,200 for a one bedroom for a bunch of years, and I think it kept going up, and I think it wasn't until they got to like 1,000, maybe 900, that he was like, yeah, we're moving.
We know that we tired, because I'm tired. And what's even more frustrating is when you feel as if the generations before you don't understand. What's good, y'all? Welcome to Pretty Realist Podcast. It's the FemC, that's me, Shannon Nicole. Now let's get into this video. This video is a little different. More so of a motivational video, a bit of a story time as well. I'm quite sure you're aware that we are going through some crazy times right now when it comes to our economy, especially if you are a millennial. If everyone can agree with that, then we on the same page. And that means when it comes to job losses, we are constantly seeing so many of these companies cutting jobs. We're seeing the cost of living go up. We know that we tired. Because I'm tired. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of thinking about it. I'm tired of seeing it. It's pretty much all in our face that right now we have to think smart. And what's even more frustrating is when you feel as if the generations before you don't understand. A lot of us weren't blessed to have parents who could give us trust funds. A lot of us weren't blessed to have parents who could even give us some type of wisdom when it comes to us having to deal with adulting, because adulting is ghetto right now. Oh, this is what it is, and you're either going to sink or swim. So I came across this video that made me want to make this video because I went through a situation. I've been feeling a little bad about it, but I don't feel bad about it because I felt like it was me expressing how I've been feeling for years. It comes to an elder in my family. One thing about me and my granddad's relationship is we were close, but we really weren't that close. We may talk on the phone every once in a while, or we'll see each other at family functions. And I just wanted to call and check on them. My whole family, all of them are all Democrats. I'm not really on that same wave. I don't really try to talk politics with them because it never goes right. My last time voting Democrat was for Obama. I spoke to my granddad. He asked me a question about my brother who's in Texas. In Texas, of course, you all know what's going on at the borders. Also know that the weather down there has been crazy. That was my concern when it came to my brother. So when he asked me if I spoke to him, I said, no, I haven't spoken to him for a while. And he automatically jumped on the whole situation with the governor. Now, my granddad is 90 years old. He doesn't go out. He doesn't really leave the house like that unless he's going to the store, maybe to the doctor. A lot of our elders around that age, if they're not very active, if they are loners and they live by themselves, as a man, you either gonna watch sports or you watching the news. That's exactly how my granddad is. He's always watching one of the two. He's constantly watching CNN. He don't mess with Fox. Most Democrats do not mess with Fox. So his point of views and how he sees the economy is based on a 90-year-old man who's been living on pension, who is watching CNN every day. He's a strong Biden supporter. His POV is always going to be siding with Biden. Our discussion got a little heated once I started telling him about the cost of living, the economy, how high groceries are, how high rent is. Just like most baby boomers or silent generations, those people always think, well, I see hiring signs all over the place, or I'm doing okay, like, why aren't you, basically. But I had to break it down to him that even though it says now hiring, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're hiring with good pay, with benefits for whoever gets that job to be able to survive on that income. He really didn't understand that. And it turned a little ugly because some personal attacks from the past got thrown around, but we're not going to get into all of that. So what I'm saying is that, like, we as millennials, we have to also understand that they will never, ever be able to understand what we're going through because they straight, really. If you think about it, there's no pensions for us. We don't even know if we're going to be able to get the Social Security that's promised to us that we continuously pay every week to 2 weeks when it comes to our paychecks. My granddad lives in Gary, Indiana. He's been living there most of his life, way before I was born, way before my mom was born. The only thing that he knows is he worked at the steel mill, he retired, he got his pension, he's taken care of for life. His house is owned, he ain't got to pay for that. He's straight. But when it comes to me telling him about my issues, it's kind of like we're really not seeing eye to eye. I found this video, and the reason why I want to play it is because I need for us to understand that really at the end of the day, when it comes to us millennials, we could get on these apps all day and complain about how bad it is, about how high the cost of living is. But what are we going to do? We have to be action-based at this point. We have to realize that, you know what? Maybe I need to move different this season. We got to realize that ain't nobody coming to save us. The government's not going to save us. Check it out.
Does anyone have any idea what the end game is to all of this? And by this, I mean life and the way it's going right now. You see, it seems like for the first time in forever, the majority of people have woken up to the idea that we are playing a rigged game. And sure, maybe our parents and grandparents knew that as well, but they didn't have apps like this one to talk to each other about it. And maybe that's why they're fighting so hard to take this app away from us. But in all seriousness, how does this all end? Are we foolish in believing that one day grocery prices will become affordable again? Can we hope that we wake up one day and hear breaking news, rent prices across the country have dropped, and new laws force landlords to obey to a rent cap that they cannot legally increase? We keep hearing about the same rinse and repeat hot button political talking points like healthcare, student loans, border security, and the economy, and yet every election cycle, nothing seems to change. In fact, the only thing we do hear about are the billions or even trillions of dollars being spent by our government to help other people in other countries, but yet we still can't afford to be sick here in our own country. It seems like our situation is bad and it only keeps getting worse. And the politicians or secret society people who are in control of everything we see and do give us this illusion like, hey, make sure you vote for me, because if you do, I'll fix it. I'll make everyone happy. But can they? Because if I'm being honest, it kind of feels like we may be too far past the point of return here. Are we ever going to be in a position again where we feel like we're steadily floating above the water instead of drowning underneath it? Making enough money to survive, chasing after the American dream, owning a house with the ability to afford health care or a good education or basic needs. Is that possible anymore? Are these still even attainable goals? Will they ever become a reality? A lot of people might say, tough luck, kid. Life is hard. You got to work hard and put in the effort to make your dreams happen. And yes, that is absolutely true. But should people have to work hard with 2 or 3 jobs just to be able to afford a place to live, leaving no time for rest or the ability to spend time with loved ones? Should people put themselves into thousands of dollars in debt to receive a degree which should better their lives and create opportunities, to then find out that no one is hiring or paying an abysmal starting wage or requiring crazy amounts of experience just to begin? Should we continue to watch as our groceries, gas, rents, and mortgages continue to skyrocket no matter how hard we work? Would it be so hard to believe in the idea that you can get yourself a good job, live in a house, and raise a beautiful family? It's literally all we want to do. So how does this all end? Because I'm tired of coming onto this app or talking with people and hearing about everyone's struggles. We live in an age where technology and scientific advancement is crazy with possibilities, and yet we're out here just trying to survive to see our next paycheck, watching as our leaders continue to ruin the world for all of us. Is it foolish to think that one day, maybe one day, we can wake up in a world where we can look back and go, wow, we did it, guys. We made it through the tough times and look at us now. I'd like to believe so.
Like, the cost of living is only going to get more expensive. So now it's time for us to start being action-based and really figure out what is our next move. He asked a very important question that I think a lot of us are asking right now. What is the end game? Because a lot of us were told so many different things that we needed to do in order to be stable in this society, in order for us to live this American dream that has been promoted to us. That's something that we got to think about, because nobody is going to give us the game right now. Nobody is going to tell us what we need to do. It's even more frustrating when you try to talk to your elders and really don't get any type of sympathy because they don't know how to give it. They don't know how to look at themselves in the mirror and be like, you know what, I probably should have set my grandchildren up with a trust fund. Or the parents from Generation Z, which seems to be so silent these days, yet nobody messes with Generation Z. And they know this. Nobody's looking at themselves in the mirror and saying, I probably should have sat my children down and spoke to them about taxes, about equity, about how to purchase a house, about why you should start saving for your retirement right now, because there's no guarantee that you're going to get Social Security by the time it's time for you to retire. Nobody told us this. And in their defense, they may not have known. You have to stick together and start motivating each other, because like I said before, nobody's coming to save us. Unless we're going to really like pipe up and be like, okay, let's go on strike and we just about to like stop shopping with these corporations. We're just not going to pay our bills anymore. We're going to go ahead and march Washington million millennial march. This is the cards that we dealt. We got to figure out how we're going to play our hand so we could win in the end. That video was heavy. I actually reposted it on my TikTok, and you know, we watch social media and we see that, like I said, so many people are talking about how difficult it is. We are on the brink of like losing our minds as millennials, but you got to save yourself right now. Ain't nobody coming to do it. You just got to do what's best for you. You may not be able to go out and take that vacation that you want. Figure out a way for you to budget your money so that way you'll be able to at least put 10 to 20% aside for a rainy day. The last thing that you want is to look up and you're on the list laid off and you have no money in savings. And it's even worse if you have children. Society makes it seem as if people who have children, that everybody who has children is getting Section 8 food stamps. I spoke to my friend yesterday and she actually gets Section 8. I mean, she pays $1,200 a month for her Section 8 home. Mind you, she has a 3-bedroom home, 2-car garage, nice place, but she's still paying $1,200 a month and making about $15 an hour. Had it not been for her getting that assistance, she probably would not be able to survive. The fate that a lot of Americans are dealing with right now. So, time to be action-based. No point in picking up your phone, crying and bitching and moaning about it. You just got to figure out a plan, stick to it, and go forth. Because as I said before, and I'll say it again, ain't nobody coming to save us. We got to save ourselves. Okay? I'm about to get up out of here. Listen, make sure you all like, share, comment, and subscribe. Listen, as someone who has lost everything, got it again, lost it, got it again, I have to be a firm believer that God ain't gonna put more on me than I could bear. I have to constantly tell myself that every day, that there is nothing that I can't get through. You have to tell yourself the same thing. Leave comments. Let me know how y'all doing out there. Like, do you all feel that things may get better? You feel as if this election may very well be possibly the most important election that we've ever had in our lifetime as millennials. Because at the end of the day, everybody think millennials is just, they think we're just literally like the losers out of all of the generations. For some reason they do. And it's not because we are not trying. It's honestly because we weren't really technically given the tools. We weren't. So it's up to us to learn them. There's amazing websites out here where you could go online and get free education on majority of the things that you need to know. Stocks, to how to build a business, to how to do digital creating. On there, Udemy, Skillshare, another app that I came across. And whatever it is that you feel you need to learn in order for you to possibly do something home-based, dig deep into it, because, you know, proper preparation prevents poor performance. Oh, listen, don't shoot the messenger. Only receive the message. If it's for you, receive it. If it's not, leave it. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.